Welcome the rare gems, why Sigma women never truly fit in, and why they stop trying to belong in a fake world. Fitting in is overrated when you were born to stand apart. Have you ever wondered why some women just don't blend in, no matter how much they try? They can be surrounded by people yet feel like strangers among them. Those are Sigma women, deep thinkers, quiet observers, and souls who see through the surface of things. They're not cold or distant. They simply operate on a different frequency. While the world chases validation and applause, Sigma women crave peace, truth, and meaning. At some point, they realize that belonging in most places comes with a price, the price of pretending. They saw how people trade authenticity for acceptance and decided they wanted no part in that deal. So they stopped shrinking themselves just to fit small conversations or shallow expectations. Instead, they started protecting their energy like a treasure. Their independence isn't rebellion, it's awareness. They understand that peace feels better than approval, and solitude often speaks louder than company that drains the soul. They'd rather walk alone in truth than sit comfortably in a crowd built on lies. This is why Sigma women never truly fit in. They see what others ignore, and they feel what others hide. They outgrow the illusion of belonging in a fake world. So, if you've ever felt like you don't belong anywhere, this video will speak to you deeply. Watch until the end, because number 10 will hit home in ways you won't forget. Number 1. Their minds run deeper than most people's comfort zones. Have you ever been in a conversation that felt like eating air, words going back and forth but nothing real being said? That's how it often feels for Sigma women. Their minds don't swim in shallow water. They dive deep, always searching for meaning, truth, and understanding. While others talk to fill silence, they talk to connect. And that difference changes everything. Sigma women think in layers. When most people react, they reflect. When others chase trends, they question why those trends exist. They can't just accept things at face value because their minds naturally pull apart everything, trying to find the truth behind it. Ask them a simple question, and you'll get an answer that makes you rethink what you thought you knew. That's why they often feel out of place, not because they're trying to be different, but because they see what others overlook. For example, imagine a group of people gossiping about someone's success. Most will talk about jealousy or competition, but a Sigma woman will quietly wonder what that person had to sacrifice to reach that level, or how fame changes someone's peace. Her curiosity doesn't come from judgment, but from a deep understanding of human nature. And this depth often makes others uncomfortable. People who are used to quick opinions and easy conversations find her silence or her insight intimidating. She's not trying to impress or prove she's smarter. She simply doesn't see the point in pretending everything is simple when life rarely is. The truth is, shallow spaces drain her. Empty talk, fake laughter, forced social games, all of it feels exhausting. She longs for genuine exchange, where minds meet and honesty flows. That's why she'd rather have one honest conversation that stretches her soul than 100 that mean nothing. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. Her mind craves depth because that's where truth lives, and once you've tasted that, surface-level living becomes unbearable. Number 2. They've outgrown the illusion of belonging. There comes a point in every Sigma woman's life when she finally understands that belonging isn't always beautiful. It can look warm on the outside, but feel suffocating within. At first, she tries to fit in like everyone else. She goes along with the jokes that don't make sense to her. She agrees with opinions she doesn't fully believe in, and she laughs when she doesn't find things funny, all just to be accepted. But slowly, something inside her starts to ache. She realizes that every time she tries to blend in, she loses a small piece of herself. That's when the truth hits. Belonging in most groups isn't about connection, it's about comfort. People like you, as long as you make them feel comfortable. The moment your authenticity starts to challenge their shallowness, they call you difficult, distant, or proud. So she stops. She stops trying to fit into rooms that shrink her light, just so others can feel tall. Take a Sigma woman in a work environment, for example. While others compete for attention or approval, she focuses on growth, purpose, and real progress. Yet, instead of being admired for it, she's often misunderstood as cold or detached. But she no longer tries to explain herself. She's learned that her peace matters more than her image. She has outgrown the illusion that belonging means being loved. True belonging doesn't demand that she edits herself to be liked. It allows her to show up as she is, unfiltered, deep, and whole. Anything less than that feels fake, and she refuses to live a half-truth. Now she doesn't chase spaces. She creates them. She builds quiet circles of people who value truth over comfort and depth over decoration. And in doing so, she finds what she was looking for all along, not belonging, but alignment. The kind that doesn't cage her, but frees her. Number 3, they think before they attach. Sigma women have learned one of life's hardest lessons. Not every smile is sincere, and not every kind gesture comes without a price. They've been through enough to know that people often show their best face at the beginning, but it's time that reveals their real character. So instead of rushing into connections, they observe quietly. They pay attention to how someone treats people who can't offer them anything in return, because that's where truth hides. They don't attach based on charm or smooth words. They look deeper. If someone is respectful only to those in power but dismissive toward waiters or cleaners, that tells them everything they need to know. It's not cynicism, it's clarity. They've seen how fake kindness often comes with a hidden bill: attention, favors, or emotional control. They're not afraid of love or friendship. They're just not willing to pay for it with their peace. For instance, imagine a Sigma woman meeting someone who showers her with compliments and constant praise. Instead of being swept off her feet, she watches. She waits to see if that person's words match their actions, or if their charm fades when they no longer get what they want. Experience has taught her that consistency is the only real proof of care. Sigma women love deeply, but they love intelligently. They don't get attached to potential or promises. They attach to patterns. They notice how people act when no one's watching, how they respond to pressure, and how they treat those who can't benefit them. These quiet observations protect them more than walls ever could. They've reached a point where they don't need to test people. They simply allow time to do the work. Real always reveals itself, and when it does, they decide if it's worth opening their heart, not because they fear pain, but because they finally understand that peace is the rarest form of safety. Number 4, they've felt the weight of loneliness even in crowds. There's a special kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone. It comes from being surrounded by people who don't really see you. Sigma. Women know that feeling better than most. They've stood in rooms filled with laughter and conversation, yet felt invisible, like their soul was speaking a language no one else understood. That's not self-pity. It's awareness. They sense energy, they read emotions, and they recognize when presence lacks depth. In the past, they tried to ignore it. They joined social gatherings, tried to blend in, and even forced small talk just to feel included. But it always left them drained. They started to notice that being around people doesn't always mean you're connected to them. Company can fill space, but connection fills the heart. That realization changes everything. Take, for example, a Sigma woman at a family dinner or a work party. Everyone's chatting, posting pictures, and pretending to bond, but she feels the hollowness underneath it all. She listens to the conversations and realizes most people are talking, not communicating. They're speaking to be heard, not to understand. That's when she starts craving depth, the kind of company that feels like peace, not noise. That kind of pain teaches her patience. She learns to choose solitude over empty company. She starts valuing people who make her feel calm rather than entertained. It's not that she dislikes people. She just can't fake connection anymore. Once you've known the emptiness of being unseen, you stop chasing crowds and start protecting your peace. Now she finds comfort in quiet places, in her thoughts, in books, in genuine one-on-one talks that don't drain her. Loneliness taught her something that fake company never could. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. Real connection doesn't require a crowd. It only needs truth. Number 5. They sense when energy isn't clean. Some people can walk into a room and only see faces. Sigma women walk in and feel everything. They notice what isn't being said. They sense when the air shifts, and they pick up on tension that others pretend not to see. Their intuition works like a silent radar, catching the truth behind smiles and the weight behind words. They don't need someone to confess their intentions. They can feel them. It's not magic. It's awareness born from experience. They've dealt with people who smiled in their face but carried envy in their hearts. They've seen how someone's tone can change the moment success enters the conversation. They've watched how kindness can disappear the second they stop being useful. Those lessons sharpened their senses. Now, when they sense energy that isn't clean, they don't argue or accuse. They simply distance themselves. For instance, imagine a Sigma woman confiding in someone she considers a friend. The friend listens, nods, and says all the right things, but something in their eyes feels off, a flicker of satisfaction rather than empathy. Most people would ignore that and hope for the best, but not her. She listens to that quiet discomfort in her chest. She's learned that intuition is rarely wrong. Sigma women don't chase explanations. If the energy feels wrong, they won't stay to find out why. They've learned that pretending not to notice costs peace. Their calm is too valuable to gamble with. Instead, they move with quiet grace, trusting what their spirit tells them. What makes them different is that they don't use intuition as a weapon. They use it as protection. They don't judge others harshly, but they refuse to stay where authenticity is missing. Clean energy feels calm, safe, and mutual. Anything else, no matter how polished, feels heavy. And once they sense that heaviness, they walk away without bitterness, only clarity. Because peace isn't found in who smiles the most, but in who's real when no one's watching. Number 6. They are allergic to drama. Drama feels like poison to a Sigma woman's peace. The raised voices, the gossip, the endless need to prove who's right and who's wrong. It all feels childish to her. She doesn't have the energy or the interest to swim in chaos that serves no purpose. While others find excitement in arguments or thrive on attention, she finds peace in silence and emotional balance. It's not that she's cold. She's just learned that peace feels better than being involved in every story. Sigma women have a sharp awareness of energy. They can tell when a conversation is about to turn toxic or when someone is fishing for conflict. Instead of getting pulled in, they step back quietly. For them, peace isn't just a preference. It's a lifestyle. They know how mentally draining gossip can be, how fake validation-seeking turns into competition, and how quickly small talk can spiral into bitterness. They've seen how people build temporary bonds through drama, only to destroy them later through the same noise. Imagine a Sigma woman sitting among friends who start talking about someone else's flaws. She'll listen for a bit, realize the direction it's going, and slowly pull away. Not out of arrogance, but because her mind needs calm to function. She doesn't feed on other people's mistakes. She learns from them. She values emotional maturity. She respects those who can disagree without turning it into a spectacle. She admires quiet strength, the kind that doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. That's why she no longer explains her silence. She doesn't owe anyone her reaction. Sigma women protect their energy like it's gold, because they know once peace is disturbed, clarity disappears. They'd rather be misunderstood for being quiet than lose themselves in the chaos of people who confuse noise with importance. For them, peace isn't negotiable, it's survival. Number 7. They trust action more than charm. Words can be rehearsed. Sigma women have learned that charm can be an illusion. Anyone can say the right things, make sweet promises, or act attentive when they want something. But actions, real, consistent actions, tell the truth every single time. That's why Sigma women don't get easily swept away by charisma or charm. They don't mistake smooth talk for sincerity. They've met too many people whose words were flawless, but whose behavior told another story. They pay attention to the quiet details. Who follows through? Who remembers what they said they would do? Who shows up when things are inconvenient, not just when it's easy? Those small moments reveal more than any grand gesture ever could. For them, loyalty isn't proven through compliments, but through consistency. For example, imagine someone constantly saying, "You can trust me." A Sigma woman won't argue or blindly believe it. She'll watch. She'll notice how that person behaves when trust is actually tested, when temptation or pressure enters the picture. She knows that talk is cheap, but patterns never lie. They also understand that energy never fakes itself. You can dress charm in confidence, but you can't disguise energy that feels off. Sigma women are sensitive to that. They sense when someone's motives are clean and when something feels forced. They'd rather trust quiet, genuine effort than polished words designed to impress. What makes them stand out is their patience. They give time the space to expose the truth. They know real character always shows, whether through a person's consistency, kindness, or lack of both. In a world full of charmers, Sigma women choose substance. They don't fall for charisma, they fall for effort. They believe that words are like perfume, pleasant but temporary. It's the action behind them that leaves the lasting scent. And once someone's actions speak clearly, she no longer needs to hear the promises. Number 8. They know authenticity has a price. Authenticity sounds beautiful until you realize how lonely it can be. Sigma women know this better than most. They've discovered that being real in a world built on pretending often comes with a cost. People say they value honesty, but when faced with someone who truly lives it, they get uncomfortable. Sigma women have paid the price of being misunderstood, judged, and even excluded, all because they refuse to wear a mask. They've been called distant for protecting their peace. They've been labeled difficult for speaking the truth without sugarcoating it. Some have even lost friendships or opportunities because they chose honesty over approval. Yet, they've never regretted it. To them, pretending to fit in would be the real loss. They understand that fake love may offer temporary comfort, but it always comes with hidden conditions. Conditions that slowly chip away at who you are. For example, picture a Sigma woman in a group of friends who constantly gossip or compete. Instead of joining in to blend with the group, she quietly steps back. Soon, they start saying she thinks she's better than them. But she knows what's really happening. Her authenticity exposes what others try to hide, and that makes them uneasy. She accepts that reaction because she'd rather be alone in truth than surrounded by smiles that mean nothing. Sigma women see authenticity as freedom. It allows them to breathe without pretending, to speak without fear, and to live without guilt. The loneliness that comes with it doesn't break them, it strengthens them. It teaches them who is real and who was only there for convenience. They've learned that peace often begins where pretending ends. So they walk alone if they must, carrying their truth like armor. Because in a world that trades honesty for acceptance, staying real is the rarest kind of rebellion. Number 9. They don't chase connection, they attract it through stillness. There's something magnetic about a Sigma woman's quiet presence. She doesn't beg for attention or try to force her way into anyone's world. Instead, she moves through life with calm certainty. And that stillness draws people in. While others chase connection through constant noise and effort, she understands that genuine bonds are never built on chasing. They happen when your energy speaks louder than your words. Her confidence isn't loud, it's steady. You can feel it before she even says a word. It's in the way she carries herself, the way she listens, the way she never feels the need to compete. People are naturally drawn to that kind of peace because it's rare. In a world obsessed with proving and performing, someone who's simply centered feels refreshing. Think about it. Everyone knows someone who talks endlessly just to be noticed, yet their presence fades as soon as they stop talking. A Sigma woman is the opposite. Her silence lingers. Her energy fills the room quietly, and people find themselves wanting to know more. That's not manipulation, it's authenticity. She doesn't chase connection because she's already connected to herself, and that self-awareness radiates outward. For example, imagine her in a social gathering. While others are busy trying to impress, she's observing, smiling genuinely when something truly interests her. Without even trying, people drift toward her. They sense calm in her stillness, and it draws out honesty in them. She becomes a mirror that reflects people's true selves, not through words, but through energy. Sigma women have learned that you don't find real connection by reaching outward. You find it by being grounded enough that the right energy recognizes you. Their stillness acts like gravity. It doesn't chase, it attracts. And that's their quiet power. They don't need to be seen to be felt. Number 10. They see through performances. Sigma women have a gift that's both powerful and isolating. They see through people, not in a mystical way, but in a deeply intuitive one. They can tell when someone's words don't match their energy. They notice the tension behind a smile, the way someone's eyes flicker when pretending to care, the slight change in voice when the truth starts slipping. Where others might take things at face value, Sigma women feel what's real beneath the surface. This sensitivity isn't something they learned overnight. It's the result of years spent observing, listening, and getting disappointed by people who turned out to be actors in real life. They've seen how easy it is for people to perform friendship, affection, or support when it benefits them. They've heard laughter that sounded warm but felt hollow. They've received "I'm here for you" messages that came with conditions. After a while, it becomes impossible for them to unsee these patterns. Imagine a Sigma woman in a group conversation. Everyone's laughing, complimenting one another, pretending the vibe is genuine. Yet she can feel the undercurrent, the envy, the competitiveness, the subtle jabs hidden behind jokes. She smiles politely but emotionally checks out. Not because she's bitter, but because she refuses to play along in a scene that's already scripted. This ability to see through performances can make her seem detached, but it's actually self-protection. She knows pretending to belong in a fake atmosphere would only drain her spirit. She doesn't need to call anyone out or expose the act. Her silence says it all. Over time, she's learned that real connection doesn't need performance. It flows effortlessly and feels peaceful, not performative. So she saves her energy for those rare souls who don't need to act. people who show up as they are. For her, truth is oxygen, and anything less feels like suffocation. Number 11. They've realized belonging to themselves is enough. There comes a moment in every Sigma woman's life when she finally understands that she doesn't need to belong anywhere, because she already belongs to herself. It's a quiet realization, but it changes everything. For years, she may have tried to fit into circles, communities, or relationships that made her question her worth. She tried to find comfort in people who only offered pieces of it. But one day, after all the noise and disappointments fade, she finds peace in her own company and realizes that was home all along. She learns that the constant search for belonging was never about others accepting her. It was about her accepting herself. The moment she stops seeking approval, she starts feeling whole. She no longer waits for anyone to understand her before she feels grounded. She creates that safety within. Take, for example, a Sigma woman who once shaped her behavior to fit into a certain group. She laughed when she didn't want to, hid parts of herself that others couldn't handle, and stayed silent to keep the peace. But deep down, she always felt disconnected. Eventually, she chooses solitude over self-betrayal. And strangely enough, that's when everything starts making sense. She discovers that peace doesn't come from being surrounded. It comes from being aligned. She no longer needs a crowd to feel validated. Her solitude becomes a sanctuary, not a sentence. She fills her space with meaning, creativity, and truth. Sigma women understand now that real belonging isn't found. It's built within. It's the moment you sit alone and still feel complete. The moment you stop chasing and start becoming. That's when the noise quiets, the confusion fades, and what remains is something priceless. A woman who belongs entirely to herself, and that is the purest freedom there is. Conclusion. Maybe not fitting in was the point all along. Have you ever wondered why some people never seem to blend in, no matter how hard they try? Sigma women are exactly that. They walk into a world that rewards imitation, yet their soul refuses to copy anyone. They have tried to belong, to soften their edges, to make themselves easier to understand. But every time they did, something inside them felt smaller. Eventually, they learned that belonging at the cost of truth is a silent kind of betrayal. The reason they never truly fit in is simple. They were never meant to. Their minds see too much, their hearts feel too deeply, and their energy doesn't align with the noise of the world. While others build connections from convenience, they crave something real, and when they realize how rare that is, they stop chasing it. It's not pride or isolation, it's peace. They discovered that being misunderstood is easier to live with than being fake. They would rather sit alone in silence than laugh in a room full of people who only know their surface. Their solitude is not emptiness, it's clarity. Sigma women understand now that their path is not about belonging everywhere. It's about belonging deeply to themselves. They've learned that authenticity often feels lonely at first, but it eventually attracts the kind of people who speak the same truth without needing to perform it. So, when you see a Sigma woman keeping to herself, don't mistake it for arrogance. She's not running from the world. She's just done pretending to fit into places where she was never meant to shrink. She has outgrown the need for validation, and that freedom, that quiet confidence, is what makes her stand out in a world full of masks.